Yo, let's do a quick check-in on those 4 interns we were following earlier this year in that ACP Year of the Life of Internal Medicine Interns video. So let's get straight into it. Let's see how they're feeling. Are they feeling better? Are they feeling more strong? Feeling like they're starting to get the hang of things? Or is it still kind of rough waters and it's really scary? Let's see what's going on. All right, so A Year in the Life of Internal Medicine Interns Part 2. As we move from the fall to winter months, we start to become more comfortable in the discomfort of new rotations. Okay. We will decorate a tree. Okay, we're a couple of months behind, you guys. Rotations have been a little busy, okay? But we're already halfway through intern year. It's pretty crazy. More than halfway through intern year. We're like 4 months away from being second year residents. That's pretty intense if you think about it. So intern 1, he's looking forward to being done with ComLex level 3. I had to take step 3 in a couple months, so I need to start studying for that. I've been making too many YouTube videos. What's a challenge you've had to overcome in the last 3 months? I graduated medical school with a substantial amount of debt and trying to figure out finances, basically. Yeah, this is something I definitely want to make a video soon about how to invest, how to put your money in a Roth IRA, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do it, but I need to really figure out what to do with my finances. So I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about that and then making a video about it soon. And hopefully by teaching you guys, I can also teach myself what I'm supposed to be doing with investments and stuff. And I think this is one thing that really should be done in medical school. Doctors aren't taught anything about how to manage their money. And it's so important because so many people are in debt. They've got loans. I really think that more instruction should be given in medical school curriculum itself. How would you describe your role in the medical team? I'm a patient advocate. I carry 4 to 7 patients on most days. Okay, that seems pretty similar to what I carry as well, I would say. Last time I'm pretty sure intern 1 was the guy who's like, I'm comfortably handling 9 to 10 patients all the time. 4 to 7 patients is definitely my average. I think in New York, though, they carry a lot of patients. One of my best friends from medical school, he's going to a New York residency, and he seems to be covering people all the time too. There's a lot of days where he has 14 or 15 patients, which is kind of interesting. I don't even know if that qualifies for ACGME regulations. How have you changed since starting residency? I've become more confident in my ability to analyze the history and physical. I feel like I am heading in the right direction. Good job, intern 1. I feel good for you. So intern 2, what are you looking forward to? She's doing research and heart failure, and they're really helping her out with the heart failure research. That's awesome. They have an intern retreat coming up. What? They're getting a beach house that we're planning to rent for the weekend. Is that sponsored by their program? Is this allowed by them? I kind of want to do something too, but I don't know if our program is going to allow us to have a retreat. We'll see. I mean, everybody's vaccinated now. So it would be pretty cool. Let's get an Airbnb, go to the beach, go to Tahoe. Let's make it happen, guys. What is the challenge you have had to overcome in the last 3 months? I'm mastering the art of not taking things so personally. And these people at her institution have been pretty mean to her, it sounds like. And I don't know why I keep calling her, but for some reason, I don't know. I feel like this guy's a him and that guy's a her. I don't know what unconscious biases my brain is forming right now. But anyways, she is having some trouble with these people yelling at her. And that happens in the hospital. It's annoying. It's happened a couple times to me. What do you dislike about medicine? I'm looking over my shoulder as I write this, but some consultants are not the most pleasant to interact with. I feel like I am sometimes criticized for calling them, which in my mind doesn't make much sense because I'm asking for their advice in light of the advanced training and specialized expertise they have accumulated. I totally agree. And half the time that we have to consult people is because our attending wants us to consult them. There's been so many times where I'm like, hey man, I'm consulting you. My attending wants this consult. So I really appreciate you helping out. And so I'm trying to tell them, I don't know if this is really a necessary consult, but that's what we discussed as a team, and I'm the intern, I'm the messenger, so don't yell at me. You're shooting the bird or whatever. You're shooting the messenger. There's been one particular infectious disease fellow who's been at our program who's already kind of established a reputation for yelling at people, and he's yelled at me a couple times too. But overall, I think I haven't been yelled at by anybody else, so it's been pretty good here. Based on my judgments, I'm just gonna pin this person as a resident in New York just based off what they're talking about. It seems kind of like a difficult situation for them. Although they are talking about a beach, so maybe not New York. Maybe there are beaches in New York. I'm not sure. Yeah, sounds like their program is a little bit more on the malignant side, but sounds like they're still learning a lot and they have a lot of support with their research, so that's good. I inherited a patient to my panel who happens to be from Bangladesh. He is extremely soft-spoken, has the warmest presence. I hate to see him sick, but I've come to value the continuity of care I have established with him. That's awesome. I really like the continuity of care stuff. And in the primary care clinic, I'm starting to get a lot more of my continuity patients of my own, like the patients that I'm the PCP for. And that's been pretty fun because now when they come in, I'm like, hey, this is the person I'm like primarily responsible for. And I've seen them like 2 or 3 times now, but it's really starting to come into play now where I'm seeing patients that I've seen before. And that does make a huge difference, definitely. What was the last time you felt connected? I actually made friends with my neighbor who happens to be in his golden years. His name is Miguel, and I would have never imagined being friends with a 70-year-old. That's awesome. Age is just a number. What a cute little thing. One of my roommates is friends with so many of our neighbors outside. He's like talking with them all the time, and I'm like really impressed by his ability to do that because I don't know. I struggle with that. I always get like kind of self-conscious. I always am afraid I'm bothering people. But it's really cool when you're like that open, like what kind of relationships can develop. I actually feel somewhat independent at this point. I know our awesome seniors are always checking over our orders, but I could say for the bread and butter cases, I'm comfortable doing most of the work. Don't get me wrong, I still have a long way to go. Awesome that this person still has a lot of humility, but is also feeling more comfortable. And I will say that one thing that's really annoying is when the seniors or, people above you start putting in orders for you without telling you. That's the most annoying thing. So definitely when I'm a senior, it's definitely going to be, reviewing the orders, but not overstepping the boundaries and like putting in orders for people, because then you're taking away their sense of independence, which you can tell is very important for this person here. And I think that's an important part of growing as an intern and as a resident in general. Intern 3, they are looking forward to building deeper relationships with faculty at my program. I agree with that because there's a lot of people that I don't know. I've always struggled developing a mentor. It's kind of the same thing with the neighbors that I was talking about earlier. I don't really talk with people that much. So there's so many faculty that I'm like, man, I really want to get to know them better, but I always get nervous. I think I'm afraid of a rejection or something. But I would love to get to know the faculty at my program better. And I think this year has been difficult because of all the COVID and everything. You don't see the faculty in person as much as you would normally. They've been very overwhelmed by clinic notifications in their inbox, definitely. He loves that it's an intricate problem solving and critical thinking in medicine. Recently on night float and during admitting nights, I love to create my problem list for each patient and establish broad differential diagnoses. On the first night of admission, the problem list is long and each problem is distinct. After a couple days, you see your problem list integrate and become a clearer picture of the true clinical presentation and situation of each patient. I think that was really well put. I think medicine is super interesting, and when somebody's less differentiated and you have to come up with the initial plan, that's definitely the most fun part of internal medicine, I think. I dislike the necessity of constantly charting, documenting, and answering notifications. I have a feeling of never completing my to-do list. Yeah, totally. The burden of documentation, as I mentioned last time, is just so high, which is really why we need to make our use of the EMR more efficient and effective. And those are things I'm really interested in. Maybe I could do like a QI project in the future, although I've never had any experience with that. But it would be cool to see how we can make things run more smoothly and not have to do so much charting and documenting. All right, let's move on to Intern 4. What are you most looking forward to? The holidays? Okay, we're a little past the holidays, but again, this video is a little late. All right, just a little bit late. What do you love about medicine? I'm really enjoying putting a face to the medicine we've learned about in textbooks. That's a nice way to put it. What do you dislike about medicine? I just finished my ICU rotation, which I was initially really excited for as I'm interested in pulmonary critical care. However, it was a bit soul-crushing at first. The patients all seemed so sick and had multiple readmissions. It felt almost fruitless to stabilize them acutely just for them to come back again. I totally agree. I really liked ICU when I did it in 4th year of medical school. It seemed like you were a generalist, but also a specialist at the same time. You deal with all the medical issues and you don't have to deal with nearly as much social work stuff. So you're really doing pure medicine. The people who like to do ICU really like teaching. It's got high intensity at times, which really pumps up the adrenaline. It's a really cool specialty. But I think this year has been particularly bad for it because so many of the patients have been admitted with COVID. They just stay there for 2 weeks. You don't change anything with the plan. There's nothing new developing. They're just getting worse and worse and worse. And no matter what you do, they just end up passing away. So I think that has really changed the dynamic of the ICU. And then I guess in general, I've figured out that, the ICU, they are really sick. I mean, if you could save them, that's honestly should be taken as a huge win, but it really can get draining at times as a lot of your patients don't really get better or they get little bit better, but they're still really debilitated. You know, you can't really get somebody who's in the ICU back to like a complete healthy normal state a lot of the time. So it's tough. How would you describe your role in the medical team? This is still something that I'm trying to figure out on an ongoing basis. I honestly think that residency programs could probably do a better job of setting expectations and objectives for interns in our roles. Otherwise, we may run into the trouble of constantly feeling confused or disappointed in our lack of knowledge and skills when in reality we aren't supposed to be there yet. I agree with this. I think all residency programs have this problem where they don't really tell interns what they're expected to do. One of the things that I was just recently thinking of actually was when I'm on the ICU, is it my job to be updating the family? Or is it the senior's job to be updating the family? Or is it just this weird flux? Like whoever, just somebody who does it, I guess. I don't know. Typically, I update the families when they request to be updated, and I'll be the person to give them a call back. What is the senior's role, I guess? Like, I don't know if my expectation is to be updating all the families in general, or if the senior is supposed to play that role. And I feel like that expectation was never really established. Have you changed since starting residency? I feel less lost and more efficient. For example, clinic is hard for me because I find it difficult to interrupt patients and redirect them to address issues that our 15 minutes is allotted for, but I think I've gotten a better handle on this. Crazy that they're actually doing 15-minute encounters, because right now in our clinic, we have 1 hour encounters. And even now, it seems like it's a rush against time sometimes. I guess we have really complicated patients. It's kind of crazy that they're already doing 15 minutes. That would be tough. All right. So that was my quick review of interns 1 through 4 from the year in the life of internal medicine interns. So interested to see what they have to say next time we see them. Probably it's going to be pretty soon, probably in March or something, I would expect. So we'll see how they're feeling then. And then they're all going to start getting antsy and nervous about becoming seniors next year, which are the same things that I'm going to be experiencing. So great to follow along with this little series that the ACP is doing, and I'm definitely enjoying it. So I'll see you guys in the next one.